You know, I know no one talks about it, but that number, that's still soaring. That's our debt. Is anyone worrying? $100 billion of it added on one day alone last week, thanks to Social Security payments. So Kentucky Republican Congressman Thomas Massie says, we should be on top of this. You're one of the few who's worried about it, though, Congressman. That's what worries me.
Look, as soon as you walk into my office here in Capitol Hill, you see a 4-foot debt clock. And that clock I put up the day I came to Congress to remind myself why I came to Congress and to remind my staff. Unfortunately, it was $16 trillion. Now it's at $18 trillion.
What's going on here, though? In none of the, the detailed legislative agenda we've gotten out of your colleagues as they take the reins of power in both the House and the Senate, is the debt a high priority? Maybe kind of slowing the increases in spending, maybe, but not much attention to it.
Unfortunately, every opportunity we've had, Congress has kicked the can down the road. We had the sequester, and I was actually for the sequester, but they were doing, Republicans and Democrats moved heaven and earth to undo the sequester. And if you go back and look at this Cromnibus, some will tell you that it didn't increase spending, but it did, because there are things that are off the ledger beyond the Murray-Ryan deal. And it's frankly very discouraging to me. But I'm back here for another term, and we are going to do what we can. Occasionally we get opportunities in the appropriations process to offer amendments to defund certain programs. And I think now that we are going to follow through the appropriations process, that those amendments will survive and go to the president's desk. And we can eat, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So we're going to be able to take some bites at that.
All right. Well, seeing as the elephant is the symbol of your party, you better hope that's not the case here. But that being said, do you worry that if now, when the economy is supposedly picking up a little bit of steam, if there's ever a time to address this, certainly for the next generation, slow it down, just slow it down, that this is the time, and no one's doing it. They'll never do it. It'll just never happen. It's sort of like waiting for a grenade to go off. The pin's out, but we just don't know when it's going to blow.
I'm worried about all of the extraordinary measures and whatnot that the Federal Reserve has undertaken, the quantitative easing. Look, that has to be unwound at some point. And although we've slowed that down, we're not really unwinding it. And I heard on your previous segment, I think you were talking about student debt. That's another concern. We are, I'm afraid, headed for another bubble. One of the first bills that I'll introduce tomorrow is a bill to audit the Fed, the Federal Reserve Transparency Act. And I think it's sad that Congress has abdicated essentially all oversight of that quasi-governmental organization for setting the price of money and the interest rates and all of the monetary policy.
Well, it is out of control, Congressman, to your point. Hopefully you get some there to follow your concern, because it's real. Congressman Massie, thank you. Happy New Year.
Thank you very much, Neil.